Hey babes, my name is Jessica and this is my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really hope you enjoy, and if you do, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe down below, and turn on your post notification bell so you can be notified the next time I post a new video. As you can see on the title down below, I am going to be doing a story time on the time I worked with the most nastiest lash artist I have ever met. I wouldn't even want to consider her a lash artist. Let's call her a lash technician. She didn't care about her clients' natural lash health. She didn't care about being sanitary or professional. And she was just like the meanest, nastiest boss to all her employees. Let's just dive right in. If you guys want to hear this story time, make sure you get yourself a little snack, a little drink, get nice and cozy. And if you're lashing, just pop in a headphone and let's get right into it. So let's bring you back to when I first started lashing. I started lashing in Vegas. I was at a lash lounge. So she had about like 70 girls working at 2 locations. I personally didn't even have to get up to get my adhesive. We would all wear like little headpieces, and if we needed anything, we would like say, hey, it's Jessica, I need this. And the guy or the girl would come around and bring it to you. So it was amazing. I learned customer service. I learned how to isolate properly, and just like the foundation and the core of the lash artist I am today is because of where I started. So I would clock in and go to my station. My, what is it called? My schedule was printed out for the day. I had each guest on there that I was having, at what time, what were they getting, what were their services before. Everything that I do, that I implement now, I really learned from them. My station was fully stocked. I had lash tiles for each guest, what they had, so if it was C, D curl, everything. I had micro tape. I had enough gel pads. So if I had 4 guests, 4 gel pads. I had 5 guests, 5 gel pads in my little station. I had, what else was in there? Like adhesive remover was in there. Mascara wands were in there. And at the end of the day, I would grab my box, return it to this girl, and she would like put it away, and she would be like, okay, you're good to clock out. But like I said, I didn't have to order supplies. So I personally didn't know like about lash brands back then. The place I worked at, she private labeled everything. So if you did see like the lashes, which most of the time you didn't see, because if you needed any type of lash, he would come and like take off a strip and give it to you. But if you did see it, it was private labeled with her company and her logo and all that stuff. And we also used like this lingo, like it was like secret codes. We would say like, let's say volume lashes, we would call them thin. 0.15 lashes, we would call them thick. And then like 0.18 and 0.25, we would say thickest. We didn't say like, what is it called? 6 millimeters, 7 millimeters, 8 millimeters, 9. We said like extra, extra small, small, medium, large, long. Like those were like the codes we used. So I'm trying to tell you this because it like comes into the story of when I started working here in Memphis. I didn't know about anything like that. I didn't have to promote. Nothing, you know, like I would just clock in. My clients were there. The only thing that like was mine was my uniform and my tweezer box. That's it. Everything else they provided for me. So I really loved it. Like I mentioned before, I learned so much from there, and I'm so appreciative of where I started. So when I moved here to Memphis, I wasn't lashing. I wasn't working for about like 6 months, but then I started working at Ulta. And this story like came about because one of my guests, she's a lash artist as well. She works on the other side of the city, but she was telling me like, hey, you should expand. You should like bring on girls. And then I started telling her about working in Vegas, and that if I ever expanded, that it would be amazing to like implement those things here, because we were like 70 girls out there, and it was just so amazing. Personally, I felt like I learned so much, and I learned the right way. And I told her, I was like, I think it'd be amazing to do something like that. Of course, at a really small scale. It's me, hello, by myself, doing everything, and I'm barely holding on. So I told her that would be amazing, you know, to like bring someone on and like teach them and just like be there for them the right way. And she asked me, did you, when you moved from Vegas, did you just open up your studio, or like what happened? And I mentioned to her, no, I actually worked at a lash lounge salon before here, but it just didn't work out for me. And she asked me, do you mind me asking where it was? I mentioned to her, and she told me, no fucking way, I worked there too. Her story, I felt so bad for her, and that's why I'm telling you guys this story time now, because if you guys are watching my videos and you guys are like salon owners, you guys should definitely treat your team amazing. I'm sure you guys do, I'm not saying you don't, but if you guys are anything like she is, you guys should like try to open your eyes up and see like there's enough room for everyone to grow. You don't have to like try to hold someone down thinking it's gonna bring you up. It definitely isn't. Like, let's all work together. Let's do lash artists supporting lash artists. As women, let's support each other, right? So her story that she was telling me, I was just like so sad. So I was like, what the heck? And then I started remembering everything that happened to me there, and I was like, you know what, I need to tell you guys this. It was horrible. It was like the worst experience, but I feel like it made me grow, and I learned so much by myself, and I'm so thankful I did. And if you're watching these videos, you guys are definitely investing in your lash career, I'm sure, and you guys are keeping like finding knowledge and trying to perfect your craft, and I am so proud of you. So I moved from Vegas to Memphis, and I am not working. I apply at Ulta and I get hired. And when I got hired as a prestige beauty advisor. That means you are color matching, you're doing inventory, and you're just on the high-end side of Ulta with like all the testers. And at my Ulta, we did have a benefit counter, and I was really good friends with her because as prestige beauty advisor, and her, she's kind of a prestige beauty advisor as well, but the only difference is she can wax, she can perform services like waxing, applying strip lashes, eyebrow tinting, all of that. And when she wouldn't have a guest, she would be cleaning her station, stocking, and I would be cleaning, stocking. And if she would be walking around, they would ask her to color match. And if she couldn't find a color match for them at benefit, she would send them over to me. So when it was like slow time, and we would just talk, you know, you talk to your employees at Ulta. So we would talk, and she mentioned to me that she was going to be moving from that Ulta that we worked at to a new Ulta that was opening down the street on Poplar. If you are in Memphis, you know what I'm talking about. I worked in Germantown. So she told me, hey, you know, like your license, you should definitely like get into it. Ulta, what they like to do is they like to hire part-time people. I was hired part-time, and ask them to work like full-time hours. So I was working like 40 hours, sometimes plus. But they like to hire you part-time to not give you benefits like healthcare and all that stuff. So her working for benefit, she had to be full-time, and they were giving her benefits and tips. So she said, when I move, there's not going to be someone here, so you should definitely try to apply and have your license so you could work at the benefit counter. And I started getting the ball rolling of, hello, why am I not licensed here in Memphis? Like, I have my license in Vegas. I went to school to be a cosmetologist so I can do hair, makeup, anything I wanted to do in the beauty industry. Why haven't I transferred my license? So I started the process of transferring my license, and at the moment when it was like, when I was still in the process, I said, well, how about I start lashing as well? I want to do lash extensions. I loved it so much. So I started applying at different lash places. And here comes when I apply at this one location. At first, when I was talking to her over the phone, she was telling me like, oh, you need to have your own guest. you need to rent, you need to do all these things that I wasn't ready for. And I let her know like my situation, like I'm new to Memphis, I am barely transferring my license, I don't even have my license at the moment. She asked me like, do you know how to do classic, volume, all that? And I told her, yeah, I know how to work with 0.03, 0.07. Girl, I'm really good at doing lashes. And that, I think, like sparked something in her mind, because the girls that worked for her didn't know how to do volume. So at first she didn't want to hire me, but then she told me, hey, come in for an interview, bring in a model, and let's see, I want to see your work. So I was so excited, and I went to her location. The place was very nice. When you arrive and you're like kind of starstruck, you're not looking at like the crevices and seeing like how dirty a space really is. You're like kind of looking at the like big picture. You're like, oh, look, a chandelier, oh my god, look at the logo, oh, look at the receptionist with that MacBook, ooh, this is a nice place, right? And it just like, I was just like really excited to start doing lashes again. And if she was going to hire me, I was like, heck yeah, you know, like I could slowly build up to being able to rent a room from you, you know, like, but at the moment I my hands are tied. I don't even know like where to start, you know? So because if you like rented a room, she was not going to be giving you clients, like, you know, like, so I didn't want to. I go and apply, and I do classic on one eye, volume on the other, and she wants to hire me on the spot. She seen my work and she was like, let me hire you. And I told her, you know, like, I don't have my license, I'm waiting for it on the mail, I could only work a couple days because I'm not going to be leaving Ulta, and just wait a couple days, weeks maybe, because as a licensed professional, like an esthetician, cosmetologist, when I was going through the process in Vegas of getting my license and doing state board and all that stuff, they mentioned to you that if state board catches you performing services without a license, they can like permanently take it away from you. And I was like very nervous. I didn't want that to happen to me. So I let her know, like, just wait a little bit. And that should have been like red flag number one, her like trying to insist me to work without my license. And her not like being like, okay, I need to like protect my business too, you know, like how unprofessional of someone to come into that place and not see my license on the wall and then me performing services on them. Like, it's just not professional, right? So that should have been red flag number one, but I didn't see it at the time, and I start working. First day should have been another red flag of me to be like, peace out, you know, let me go apply somewhere else. No. I get hired and I start talking to her like before my first day and figuring out how much she's gonna pay me, what the situation is and everything. And she made it seem so amazing. Like, I'm telling you, when I worked in Vegas, I had my full schedule lined up for me. I didn't have to look for guests or anything like that. But the difference is, in Vegas, they had like clients. They were not doing Groupons. And this girl here in Memphis, she wanted to just give me Groupons. And that's not like a bad like way of doing services. But if you don't know what Groupon is, it's kind of like a coupon. You can type in Groupon and you'll find local different things in your city. People that do like waxing, people that do like lashes, me, tanning, like a lot of different things. And Groupon, it's a coupon. So I would put my services on there, and Groupon requires you to mark it down like 50%. And you can even mark it down more. For me, having my business on Groupon, whatever the guest pays, so let's say my service is $200 and I mark it down to 50%, so $100 the guest is paying Groupon. Groupon then turns around and only gives me 50% because they are marketing, people are on their website, whatever. So before I even started working, before my first day, she told me, you're going to be doing Groupons. And I thought it was like a code, like all I learned was code, so I didn't even know what that was. And I was like, okay, sounds legit. And she told me, she's like, Groupons, you get paid like $15 to $20. And I was like, oh, bet, like I'm gonna be making more here than at Ulta. Like that sounds great to me. And she told me like, but it's not a full service. Like once your clients open their eyes, if they want more, that's when you get like the real money, and you just tell them like to pay extra. The receptionist knows this and this and that. And I was like, oh, so I can upcharge them too, like without knowing. Like now I know she was like, this is her Groupon, like legit a $300 worth service, full set and touch up in 2 weeks. She marked it down like 70%, so the guest is paying anywhere from like $125, $150, and then Groupon takes half of it. So she was giving me a little bit, you know, and I didn't mind it. But when I figured that out, like after my first day, when I started working there for a longer period of time and I wasn't making more money because she had me booked back to back to back, where I only had an hour for each guest, they were not even getting the full service. They were getting 1 hour for a full set. Of course, they were coming back for their touch-up because they had already paid for Groupon, but I was like, I can't even upcharge them. Like, I have someone waiting for me, and this isn't even a full service. But in my mind, I was like, okay, but they're only paying like $80. Like, it's not that bad. They're paying for like a touch-up for a full set, but we're like, you know, like it was just so weird in my mind. I hope you guys are like getting what I'm saying now. Looking back, I'm like, that's like so unprofessional to like market to your guests that they're going to be receiving a $300 worth service when it wasn't even worth, I want to say like worth $150. Like it was way less, you get me? And that's just like you're not going to build a good relationship with your clients when you're doing that. So that was like a red flag that was super red, that like made me leave, you know. But let's go back to the first day because I went way ahead of myself. So I arrived on my first day with my tweezer box because that's all I had to my name. I was super duper excited, and I walk in and the studio space is really small. Like it's really tiny. Like it's like a house, but your actual room is like really tiny. It was like long and tiny. She had like a little bed, and she had like a little dresser, some type of deal. I think it was like to do like hair, like it had like for blow dryers. That's where she had like her lash cart. And I go in, I love to always arrive a little bit early so I can like, you know, have everything ready and make sure that I can see my schedule and see like what's going on. I don't want to be surprised. So I arrive and I'm starting to look at this like cart, and I'm like, there's only one mascara wand, like there's no lash tiles. Like what is going on? You know, like this is a little weird, a little sus. And there was only one mascara wand. So I call her up and I'm like, hey, you know, like I need more supplies. And she's like, what do you need? There should be enough there. And I was like, yeah, well, all I'm seeing is one lash spoolie. And like, let me correct myself. When I did a model, I asked her, where do I put the lash strips? And she told me to put strips right here, and that makes you faster. And at the moment, again, I was like, okay, like you're the boss, I'm going to do what you do. So the lash tile wasn't that big of a shocker, but not having any mascara wands, I was like, okay, I'm like, I only have one for my first guest, like where's the rest of them? And she said, oh, that's for your guests, like that's the one you use. And I was like, one spoolie for all my girls? And she's like, yeah, just use that one for all of them. Okay, that's like a one-time use item, and it is not sanitary at all to be brushing someone's lashes and using that same brush all day. And I don't know how long she had been using that brush, if it was like for weeks, months, years, I don't know. You're supposed to give your guests that brush so they can brush their lashes at home, because it's a one-time use. If your client doesn't want it, toss it in the trash. Just like gel pads, you're not going to save those gel pads for all your guests. It's just unheard of. Like, it was just weird. So I didn't question her. I was just like, okay, that's a little weird. I did have some spoolies at home because I had started trying to buy some stuff so I could start doing lashes. And I said, okay, tomorrow I'm going to bring my own spoolies and let her know, like, hey, you need to have these in stock, you know, like you can't just give one to all your guests. But it's really weird to tell someone that is like your boss, like how they should run their business. It's really weird, you know, it puts you in a really weird situation. So that's how my first day went. I was using the same spoolie for all my guests. Let's fast forward a couple weeks that I'm working there. Things are starting to pop up, which I'm like, oh, this is a little weird, but it's fine. Let me like get more experience and learn about lashes, because I was doing inventory, so I was kind of like learning more of like small, medium, long, like 10, 11, 12s, you know. I was like learning more. I was researching more, trying to find lash brands and all that stuff. She's gonna go to like Cancun or something, so no one in her salon knew how to do volume, so she asked me if I could take her guests, and I was up for it. I was like, yes, it's gonna make me more money because volume is a little bit more. I don't have to do Groupons at all. And she tells me like, oh, but all my guests need like new full sets, so just do a touch-up on them, but like when I get back I'll do full sets on them. And again, I'm not gonna question her, she's the boss, but in my mind I'm like, in Vegas I worked there for like about 2 years and not one of my guests needed a full set, unless they stopped getting lashes and they wanted to come back, or unless they took like 6 weeks to come back for touch-ups. So in my mind I was like, okay, they all need new full sets. The day comes when I'm doing her clients touch-ups, and Isolation, she does not know who Isolation is. I don't even want to say we don't know her, because I know Isolation. This woman didn't know Isolation at all. It was, oh my god, like, oh, I was just like, it was the worst I had ever seen. It was like cluster status. It was like individual like type deal. Like, it was so bad, and I'm like, how am I going to place lashes on this? I was taking time to like remove the ones that were like really bad, like stuck on each other, but I only had a couple hours. I think her touch-ups were like 45 minutes. So I felt like I did not have enough time. So I was like, I don't want these guests opening up their eyes and them having less lashes than what they came in with, because actually I'm going to be helping them and, you know, like taking off the ones that are like really bad and like trying to place good ones. And it was just, that day I'm still like kind of traumatized from it. And I just went in and just started placing lashes, and I didn't care about the lash health, and I just felt really bad. And when I got home that day, I told my husband, I was like, I think I don't want to work there anymore. There's been so many red flags, and like this is just weird, right? When I got hired, the receptionist, she had just gotten hired as well, and we like kind of clicked, and we just like would talk to each other a lot, and she would tell me everything. And she ended up telling me, hey, you know, she was bad talking you to the guests. The guests were a little upset that they were not as full, and she said that, yeah, and she was like kind of bad talking you to the guests. And I felt really bad, because I'm like, why didn't she come to me? She said that all her guests were super duper happy, that they loved me, that they loved my energy, and this and this and that. And like, why are you telling another employee that I sucked, you know, that like I wasn't it, like that, like why aren't you telling me, you know, so I can improve? Like, what is you telling the receptionist that your clients are unhappy with me going to help me? It was just really weird. At this point, I think I had already talked to her like that I wanted to get more of a percentage. So I think the percentage she was giving me was the same for returning guests and for Groupons. And I personally felt like I should get a little bit more money for the returning guest. They, one, liked my service, two, wanted to return and get their lashes done by me. So I let her know, you know, like with Groupon, you're already giving them 50%, so I don't mind that. but with the returning guest, do you mind giving me more? She was super duper happy about it. She really wanted me to open a different salon for her. She said that I would do great, because she also told me that if I can reach out to my old boss in Vegas and tell them if they wanted to partner with her to open up a place here. And I'm just like, I wasn't that cool with my boss over there. Like, I would only see her once a month when we would have group meetings, or when she would just stop by. Like, I'm not cool with her like that. I was just one of her employees. Like, that was just like so many little red flags that she would like say that were just like off, you know, like really, really off. So I had mentioned to her about like raising it, and she said, yeah, that's great. I love how enthusiastic and like what you want you asked for. And I told her, yeah, you know, like I really want to be able to rent a space and have my own products and do that like at her salon. Like, I told her, I was like, I really want to do that, but I feel like with the money I'm getting right now, it's not helping me to be able to do that. So she was like, yeah, I'm totally cool with that. From now on, I'm going to add that to your paycheck. And I said, fine. When I got my paycheck, I noticed that it was not the correct amount. And I called her out. I told her, I was like, hey, you know, like, I think you messed up because of this. It's not adding up. And I don't know if I called her like on a wrong day. I really wouldn't see her all that much. I lashed in her room. So when I lashed, she wasn't there. And when I was at Ulta, she would be lashing in her room. So I told her, I was like, I don't think you gave me enough. And I called her like on a wrong day or something, because like she blew up on me. From me being motivated and knowing what I want, I turn into, oh, you want too much. Oh, you are like, you're not bringing enough to the table and you're asking for too much. And in my mind, I was like, whoa, like she wouldn't even let me talk. Like, she was telling me the worst things that I am not going to repeat, but she was just being so rude on the phone. And when she let me speak, I told her, you know what, I'm going to tell the receptionist that to not book me anymore, that the clients that I have on the books, I'll finish them up, you know, but other than that, I feel like it'd be best if I don't work for you anymore. And she said, don't even tell her. I'll tell her. You don't have to tell her nothing, like, that's fine with me, whatever. And when I hung up with her that day, I was like, where did like things go wrong? Like, this was just like a weird situation, right? So she calls me later that day and she tells me, like, I was talking to my husband and I think it's best that you don't return and you don't finish your clients. Come pick up your tweezer case and anything else you have here. I'll have it in the mailbox. If you don't pick it up today, I will mail it out to you. And I said, that's perfectly fine with me. I went and I picked up my tweezer case and I never spoke to her again. I was just like, I don't want nothing to do with you. Like, it was like the worst experience ever. There were so many more like little incidents, but I don't want this video to be like an hour long. So I was like, that's fine with me. The girl that rented from, I was gonna say her name, the girl that rented from my ex-boss, that was going to do her client's lashes, but she didn't. The story I told you earlier, I had reached out to her because when I worked for that crazy lash technician, when I seen her lashes, I was like, oh, your lashes are beautiful. Who did your lashes? Because again, in Vegas, we would all do each other's lashes. Like, it was just a thing, you know, like doing your friend's lashes that works with you. She told me like she had got them done at another place, and again, another little red flag. Like, why are you going to get lashes done elsewhere? Like, that's a little sus. But I didn't want to pry or ask her like, why don't you do them here, you know? So I was just like, when I left from working there, I was like, let me call her and ask her if the girl that does her lashes, if she wants to rent me out a space or anything like that. And I started talking to the girl that rented from, I was gonna keep saying her name, they rented from that crazy lash technician, and we went out for drinks and dinner, and she said, you know what, I can't do it anymore, I'm leaving. We just started talking about like what were our next steps, because she had signed a contract, which I forgot to mention. I keep wanting to say her name. that crazy lash technician wanted me to sign a 5-year contract. 5 years, who knows what they're gonna, who's gonna sign a 5-year contract, you know, like what? This was all before I even worked for her. So I'm telling you, all these like little red flags, I'm like, why did she want me to sign a 5-year contract? I did sign a contract in Vegas, so it wasn't a surprise when she asked me for me to sign a contract. But what she was expecting for me, I told her, like, it says here that I'm going to be paying you $200 a week. How am I going to be paying you $200 a week when you're telling me that you're hiring me as an employee as commission? And she said, oh, no, don't focus on that. That has nothing to do with it. Da, 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 da. Like trying to like make me sign something, which she said that it was generic, that I just had to sign it, but that to like not see that, like to like, what is it called, to void it? I'm not sure. But I told her, like, I'm not gonna sign it. I'm not gonna do a 5-year contract. I can't do that. And if that's what you're expecting from me, I'm sorry, I can't lash for you. But she told me, again, red flag, just don't tell anyone here. Everyone else is signed with a contract, so I think they'd probably think it's weird that you're not. So come, but don't tell anyone. Like, weird, right? So this girl is like, I can't deal with it anymore. I have to get out of here. But I am signed to a 5-year contract. And I think she had been working for her for about 2-3 years already. She's like, but I'm just gonna like leave. And unfortunately, she did get sued. And the salon owner won. And I'm just like, how? Like, it's just so crazy. So much things that happen with that lady. And when we were having dinner and talking, she was telling me how, like, some stories of how why she wanted to leave. She said that one of her guests had put on the salon Facebook, like, oh, she had a bad experience with her, not with the owner, but with the girl that I was talking to. And the owner goes and comments, oh yeah, that's like how she is. Come to me and you will never experience that. Like rivalry, you know, with her employee, right? Like, shouldn't you be like, oh, I'm sorry, I'll talk to her, or like, oh, come in, we'll give you a free touch-up, but then talk to your employee instead of like making it seem like you're the best but all your employees suck. Like, your employees should be a reflection of who you are, not like, oh, she sucks, come to me, don't go down the hall, come to me, that person sucks. Like, that just made, like, it boils my blood, right? Like, it's just wrong. So my client, where this all started from, I was telling her like the little situations and all that stuff with me, and she said, well, I guess she has not changed, because when I worked for her, she had just opened up that spot. She used to actually be best friends with someone, and they were going to open up a salon called this name, and I don't know what happened, but they split. And when I was interviewing at her spot, I went to her best friend's spot because they're still named kind of the same thing. And when she showed up, they said, oh no, you don't have an interview here. And they let her know, like, oh, she stole my name, and whoop de whoop de whoop. She goes, applies, gets hired, works with her, and this person, my ex crazy lash artist, lash technician, she says that her best friend stole the name, well, her ex best friend or whatever. So like, it's been like this for years, like little like bad business moves, I feel like why are you burning so many bridges, you know? My client, she told me I never got paid. She worked for her for like a month and she never got paid. She actually trained with Lashbox, and the kit that Lashbox gave her, I was gonna say her name again, the crazy lash technician took her kit and started using her products. My guest, she said that she would be like, oh, I'm gonna go get lunch, I'll be right back. The crazy lash technician said, oh yeah, get me lunch too, and wouldn't pay her back. And just like so many like bad things that happened to her too, and I just feel so bad. She said that she stopped working for her, like what, like I guess interning or like freaking apprenticing, because she didn't get paid for that whole month. She said that stopped talking to her, and that out of nowhere she would get like friend requests on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, and that sparked another memory in me, which is she had posted a picture of me on her Instagram, and it had said something like the lines of, here it is, her salon, new lash girl all the way from Vegas is lashing, come support her. This was May 13, 2017. I'll probably have the picture up here for you guys with a couple stuff blurred out because I don't want you guys to see her name or anything like that, but you guys can see that I'm lashing, and I have like all the strips on that girl's forehead. Guys, if you are lashing and you're using strip lashes, that's not sanitary at all. I would like when I wouldn't finish the strip, I would take them off and place them, and then they wouldn't want to stick, so we would have to put micro tape, and it's just not sanitary at all. Use a lash tile. What other things can you use to lash with? A lash tile, so you can keep it nice and sanitary. But she had this picture on there, right? So I had messaged her a while later. Let me see if we still have the messages. We do. I messaged her in August 23rd, 2017. I'm gonna blur out her little logo and everything so you guys can read it. I don't know where my message to her is. I might have deleted it, but I think the words are like, hey, you still have that picture on your Instagram of me, can you take it off because I'm not working for you anymore? Why do you have my picture on there, you know? And she goes, girl, bye. That's my work. That's my work. Show you ladies how to lash. So please stop. I'm lashing, something you should be doing as well. How about you take my client with nose ring off you page? Thanks. I don't know what she meant, what that means. Like, I had a client about her with a nose ring. I'm not sure, but it might have been when I moved and I started renting here at this spot. I had people like reaching out to me because the receptionist at her spot still work there, and I told her, I was like, hey, if people are asking for me, please can you like let me know so I can like reach out to them, and if they want to come with me, that'd be great, you know, like I'm starting my business. It would be amazing if I already had a relationship with those guests. She told me that she was telling all my guests that I had moved back to Vegas, that I didn't work there because I had moved back to Vegas. And the receptionist was like over it too. She ended up quitting about like 2-3 months later because, again, like when she got hired, she had worked I think at Cricket before that, so she was going to college and she had never done a receptionist job. So when she got hired there, she was super excited because she's like, oh, this seems like a good environment for me. But the owner, the crazy lash technician, didn't train her. So she was just like, okay, just answer the phones, do this, do that, and didn't really explain to her like what to do. So let's say a day a client had canceled, like 2 clients back to back or something, and she never told the receptionist like, oh, if someone cancels, fill it in. Us as people that do like hair, like that are in the beauty industry, we would know, you know, like, oh, she's not gonna have anyone for here, let's try to like move things around so she's not here for 2 hours not doing anything. But her coming from Cricket, I kind of understand her not knowing if no one told her to like fill up that spot, you get me? So she would get mad at her and yell at her and be like, you're not doing your job right, when one, she didn't even explain exactly what she had to do. So again, this comes back to now with me being here in my studio and me wanting to expand. I'm definitely going to do things very differently, and whenever I do bring someone else along, I'm gonna definitely know my expectations of them and what they need to bring as well. So if I want them to bring their own clients, I'm definitely not gonna hire someone that doesn't have clients. Like, if she really wanted someone like that, she should have definitely done that. But writing like a step-by-step of things that need to get done, like, okay, you need to come in, turn the lights on, do this, do that, turn on the music, it should be this station. If you're just hiring out and you're not explaining things to people, like the motions you go through your lashing day, someone else has a completely different idea. So even like you as a lash artist right now, when you do someone's lashes and they're like, oh, I want a cat eye, and you're like, oh, okay, in your mind, you know, it's like from short to longest. And then in their mind, they're looking like at a doll eye or something, thinking that's cat eye. That could be like a very dramatic thing, because a lot of people know what cat eye is, like, you know, like more long. But still, like, let's say they want something really fluffy and full, and you think it's like mega volume, which they think it's like hybrid, something more wispy. So you guys need to like be on the same page. Pictures definitely help. Like anytime you tell a guest like, oh, do you have a picture, and you look at it and you're like, oh wow, now it clicks to me what you're thinking you want, which is not what you're saying, but I got you, girl, you know. But I definitely want to do something like that. Not right now, I have so much on my plate. I just feel like she had a lot of turnaround. When I was there, she had about 3 girls that had already quit. Like recently there was like about 2 girls that got hired like a little bit before me and had left as well. The girl that I'm telling you that she had like broken her contract, the receptionist, like so much turnaround. Like she couldn't keep clients, she couldn't keep employees. Like what she would do is she would book herself back to back to back, but have like probably 2 people waiting for her. And like it was just an overall, like I'm thinking to myself, how is she in business? And I do not know. I really don't know how she does it. But when I do expand, I know that I am going to be the best boss. I really want everyone to grow and learn. I feel like the lash industry is amazing. A lot of the people that quit, I do follow them on Instagram, and they're not doing lashes anymore. They're like waxing, doing other stuff, makeup, and I'm just like, wow, like they really wanted to learn how to do lashes and they got deteriorated because they worked there. So it sucks, you know, it really does suck. A lot of the guests, I'm sure that she has, hate lashes now because they feel horrible. She wouldn't tell her clients to wash their lashes. It was just very unsanitary there. She didn't have anything to sanitize her tweezers. Like, I could go on and on and on, but this video I'm sure is pretty long. So I hope you guys enjoyed this story time, and I definitely want to do more story times because this was kind of fun. Let me see, I've been filming for about an hour now, so I hope this video can get cut down and I just leave in like the juicy parts. But if you guys enjoyed, don't forget to share it with a lash friend. Let's share the lash love. If you enjoyed, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down so I can know. Subscribe down below and turn on your post notification bell so you can be notified the next time I post a new video. And until then, bye my loves. You can also quickly subscribe. If you click my face, you are subscribed to my channel. And don't forget to watch 2 other of my videos before you head out. I love you.